Today we're going to build a portfolio website step by step. We'll take a rough idea like this and transform it into a portfolio website hosted on a domain name. Now, portfolios are unique. As a website, they have one goal: to showcase your work. Lock that goal in because we're going to keep coming back to it. So how should a website showcase work? Well, people have been showcasing visual work long before the internet and long before computers. Where? Here, in art galleries. And art galleries can teach us a few important lessons about how to showcase work well.
They are minimalist. The space itself is typically unremarkable and usually fades into the background. That way it doesn't distract visitors from the art. They use white space. White space focuses the visitor's attention towards the art. They are curated. Artists choose only their best work. They don't hang up everything they've ever done. Galleries don't go overboard with the minimalism. They still provide context with labels that provide key information about the work.
And that's how galleries showcase work. So it doesn't matter if you're a photographer, web designer, videographer, artist, illustrator, the lessons we learned here can be applied to your portfolio. So let's build this website. Okay, so in order to build our website, we need a tool like a website builder. And there are literally hundreds of website builders you could choose to build your portfolio with.
But we're going to use Squarespace. I just really like Squarespace. I currently use it for several of my own websites, and it's the tool I recommend to my friends and families.
Plus, I found it's especially good at portfolios, but this video will be helpful no matter what website builder you use. You can find a link to Squarespace and a bunch of other great website builders in the video description. Just FYI, some of these links are affiliate links, but I'm only including website builders here that I use myself. So here's what we're going to be covering in this video. And the first thing we're going to do is register for Squarespace and choose a template. You can get started with Squarespace by clicking this link in the video description and signing up.
And let's choose a template. Though, hold up. Isn't this just a bit overwhelming? Like we have to commit to a template right off the bat? How do we even know what we need?
So let's take a step back. Before we choose a template, we need some inspiration. Let's do a tour of some really great portfolios.
Very nice. Minimalist. And while there is no text explaining what kind of photographer he is, it's pretty clear he does macro photography of insects. Beautiful. Nice text introduction. This is another minimalist website, but notice how the background color is a slight shade of yellow? Here's what it would look like if it was pure white. You can see the shade of yellow just brings a touch of warmth. Oh, I like this. Very sophisticated. It's an interesting choice to just show one painting up front. I think it works. Cool. Nice grid photo gallery, and this is a sidebar navigation, a bit different. This is nice. Minimalist navigation, a soft, subtle background color. And I kind of love this gallery layout.
Have you noticed the trend? These designs are all kind of minimalist, which is great. They remind me of the art gallery.
Lots of white space, text is black, and nothing about the designs is super distracting here.
So my portfolio is going to have a minimalist design too, but there's no rule that says you need to have a minimalist portfolio. You can do your own thing. You can be unconventional. Just be careful. Unconventional can become a distraction. Like a bike with square wheels is unconventional, but be a pain to get around with. Remember, visitors aren't coming to your portfolio to see cool, crazy web design. They are here to see your work. Don't let the web design get in the way of that. So back to selecting a Squarespace template.
I'm looking for something minimalist. And yeah, let's choose this one, Balboa. We'll click start with this design. All right, here we are in Squarespace.
Now before we begin, I guess I haven't even explained what kind of portfolio we're even building today. Well, we're building a photography portfolio for me. But I'm not a photographer, I'm a web designer, which is a problem, but I have a solution. I'm gonna pretend I'm a product photographer for famous tech companies like Google and Apple. So I just downloaded a bunch of product photos, and that's what I'm gonna use for the photos in my portfolio. Next up, we're gonna do our logo and navigation for the website.
So let's click Pages. And Squarespace starts you off with some sample pages. I'm just gonna delete those. And then let's create a blank page called About. And then a blank page for Peloton. This will be a gallery. And a few other pages that will be galleries too. I'm thinking each company will have its own gallery. All right, now we can see our pages are in the website navigation. Let's edit our website navigation. We'll click Edit and Edit Site Header. Let's give it a logo and we'll just call this Steve Benjamin's. And do you see this login link? I don't think we'll need that. We can turn it off under Elements. And if we hover over here, we can add a social link to my Instagram. Nice. Gives it a nice Instagram icon. And I think this is looking pretty good. If we click Edit Design, Squarespace gives a bunch of options for the layout of the navigation, but I think we'll just stick with the original. Yeah, that's nice.
Now, I have one suggestion.
Our navigation is nice and simple, right? But if we keep adding pages, the navigation will get overwhelming. If you need more than 7 or 8 pages in your navigation, it's time to start organizing them in a dropdown. Fortunately, it's super simple to make dropdown menus with Squarespace. But I don't need a dropdown because
I'm trying to remember what I learned from the art galleries, which is this.
Keep it curated. So I'm limiting myself to 5 pages and I'm just showcasing my best work.
I don't want visitors to have to sift through tons of photo galleries because if there is one golden rule that cuts across all websites everywhere, it is don't make people think, especially not in order to navigate your website. And I don't want to call anyone out, but I'm going to show you a few examples of portfolios that make you think in order to navigate.
Oh, these are cool. She's an amazing illustrator, but this kind of letter spacing can be difficult for people to read, and so it makes people work in order to navigate. Let me see if I can make some edits. Yeah, I don't know. To me, this is just more readable. Oh, this is actually super cute, but the text is not very legible. Let's see, are these, so these are links? I hate being critical, but yeah, I think this text isn't super readable, makes people work in order to navigate. Okay, so here my eyes are just not totally sure where to go. The design isn't really focusing my attention anywhere, so it's just kind of overwhelming.
A website's navigation is meant to be used, so don't make it hard to use. And I mean, these people don't have to listen to me, and neither do you. It's your website. You can decide for yourself. I'm just sharing what I think, and I think navigation should be simple and clear. Okay, time to get serious. Let's build our first gallery. This will be for the product photography I allegedly did for Apple.
So, let's open our Apple page and hit Edit. Let's add a section. And Squarespace has a bunch of pre-designed sections we can add to websites. Let's look under Images. We have a bunch of different galleries we could add.
And you know what? Before we choose our gallery type, let me give you a bit of a breakdown of the 4 most common types of galleries on the internet.
The classic grid. Notice that all images have the same aspect ratio, which means images that don't fit perfectly might get cropped. Fortunately, Squarespace does include a focal point editor, which lets you control where the image crops. The masonry style. All images get the same height, but no images are being cropped here, which kind of looks like interlocking bricks. The strip style is the same thing as masonry, except all images now have the same height. And then, of course, there is the slideshow. Slideshows are good if you want to focus the user's attention. The downside is that users can't move as fast as they might want to. So, back in Squarespace, I'm going to choose a masonry style. And I am going to make a few adjustments. I want my gallery to be the same width as my navigation. I want it to have 3 columns. And let's reduce the spacing. Now let's upload our photos. Awesome. And let's just reorder these images. Let's speed this up though. Very nice. Let's save and preview. This is nice, right? There's one thing I forgot though. Let's close the preview. Edit again. Edit section. And let's turn Lightbox on. Now what does this do? Well, let's preview again. And now when we click an image, it will open in a Lightbox. That way we can focus just on that image. What's cool is we can also browse images now, like a slideshow. It's a cool option. Now, just looking at this page, I think it's missing something. Remember back in the art gallery how they would include descriptions that would give some context? We need something like that. So let's edit this page again. Let's add a new section. This time we're gonna add a blank section. And let's add some text. Drag the text box out. And let's write a short description of the work I did for Apple. Again, allegedly. We'll make this text into a heading. There's a bit too much space. Let's reduce the size of this section. I like that better. But you know what? Let's make this text a bit smaller. Yeah, that works. But you know what? The line is way too long now. When text is too wide, your reader's eyes have to backtrack a long distance at every line break. We don't want that. Let's resize it. And yeah, that kind of works. And lastly, if Apple is our client, we really got to add that iconic Apple logo. We should be letting people know. Oh yeah. Oh, and let's just make sure it's perfectly aligned. All right. Yeah, it's coming along here. I'm feeling good about this.
Now, galleries like this can be deceptively simple, so here are 2 tips to consider.
Don't have too many images per row. It can be overwhelming. Keep it simple and give the images some space to breathe. There's a reason YouTube only has like 4 thumbnails per row. Be careful with minimalism. Like, I love this artist, but I worry that users will miss the previous and next buttons down here that let them browse the slideshow.
Am I being too critical today? I feel like I'm being critical. This is all just food for thought. Anyways, our gallery is done.
Now our design is very minimalist. In fact, other than photos, our website has no color. It's just black and white.
So it's time to style our website, because even though we have a minimalist design, doesn't mean we can't add some personality. Let me show you some examples.
This is definitely minimalist, which makes the colorful logo pop even more. This is minimalist in the sense that they've reduced the amount of elements on the website, though it is a bit ornate. You might not be picking up on this right away, but this website is not black and white. No, focus on the background color. It's just a really soft green. It gives a subtle tone to the site. This is definitely black and white, but there's a pop of pink when you hover links. It's cute. Let's add some style to our website. So, let's open up Site Styles. Let's start by looking at some of these recommended font pairings. Meh. They're nice, but you know what? I really just want Helvetica for all my fonts. I'm going to keep it super simple. Nice. Next, let's take a look at colors. And Squarespace has this handy colors palette that we can customize. Now, a quick word about colors. Sometimes with minimalist websites, it can be tempting to make text low contrast like this, but we want to resist that urge. Low contrast text is never the solution to a design problem. It's just going to make our website harder to read. The main thing I want to do with colors is set our accent color to a nice green. I think this green kind of suits a photographer of tech products. Then let's close Site Styles and let's start implementing this green. Actually, wait, let's nudge this a bit. Yeah. Anyways, I'm going to select this text and choose Squarespace's highlight tool. And I can customize it a bit. And yeah, I think that's just a nice pop of personality.
We'll start using this green throughout the website, but with fonts and colors selected, I'm going to say Site Styles is complete. Next up, we're going to build our homepage. This is a big page, so let's get some inspiration before we build it.
I like this. Nice and simple. And if we scroll down, we have a perfect little introduction. Here we go. Another great introduction. And she even does a bit of name dropping. Looks like she's worked at Google and Microsoft. Nothing wrong with that. Builds credibility. Oh, interesting. She's photographed some pretty big celebrities. This is Jessica Chastain. Looks like she's also photographed Steph Curry, Selena Gomez.
It's okay to name drop if you work with some big names. It adds credibility. Okay, let's look at one more.
I think this is kind of beautiful. It's very minimalist. Feels like an art gallery.
There are a few principles we can learn from these websites. First of all, we need an introduction. A good short introduction is 2 to 3 sentences that explain who you are and what work you do. Don't be afraid to name drop. If you work with recognizable clients or brands, put them out there. Like in my case, I pretend to work for Samsung and Apple, so I'll be sure to put that on my homepage. Put your work front and center. In most small business websites, my advice is to put yourself front and center. So if you're a carpet cleaner, put yourself front and center. If you're a realtor, put yourself out there. But portfolios are different. Remember, a portfolio is here to showcase your work, so it's okay to put the work front and center.
So let's make this homepage. We will start by adding an introduction. I'll say, I'm an award-winning product photographer based in Toronto. Short, but informative. And let's make it a bit bigger and a bit wider. Let's move this back up and resize this section. Yeah, that looks nice. Next, let's add a splash of our green by using that highlight tool again. Cool. Then let's add a gallery. We, of course, want to put our work front and center. There we go. It's looking good. Now visitors are going to scroll the page, and at the end of the page, we want to add something, kind of like a next step for them to take. So let's add a blank section. And I just want to add some text here that invites the visitor to take a next step by exploring my work further. Or they can get in touch with me if they want to hire me. And let's make it bigger. Center it. And of course, let's quickly add some links. You can see the links automatically get the green from our color palette. Very nice. There's a bit too much space. Let's get rid of that space. And yeah, okay, looking nice.
Our homepage is complete, but while we're here, let's quickly create the footer of the website.
So we'll click the Edit Site Footer. And I'll delete this text. Let's replace this text. Center align it. Add a link. Add a little hand wave emoji. It's kind of just a friendly touch. That's perfect. We don't need much here. This is good. Footer is done.
And with that, we have one final page, the About page. Some websites have an About page and a Contact page, but I'm going to combine them into one page.
So let's click over to the About page, hit Edit, add a blank section, and let's add some text. We will highlight my impressive clients and that I'm award-winning, again, allegedly. And let's add our green highlighter effect. Perfect. And let's add some copy that I pre-wrote. Let's make it nice. Add some links. And then let's add a photo of me. And I have 2 photos to choose from, friendly or brooding. I'm gonna go with friendly. We want clients to reach out to us, and I think friendly just looks less intimidating. The cool thing with Squarespace is that you can give images a shape. I like this because we're used to seeing rectangular or square images. So to me, a shape like this is just a bit more visually interesting. And just like that, we're done.
Now I just copied and pasted this text in. I haven't mentioned how I wrote it or what you should write on your About page. Well, my main advice is this. Put yourself in the shoes of your potential clients. What are their thoughts? What are their worries? Try to address those. Like on my About page, I talk a bit about me, but I also make it about my clients. I say, I bring your products to life, which is a way to emphasize I'm here to serve your needs, not mine. I do think it's important to include a photo of yourself. It helps bridge that digital gap. Like it just makes you more approachable.
Lastly, you might be wondering, hey, isn't it bad to post your email on your website like this?
Well, yeah, it's going to be a lot easier for spammers to harvest your email address. If you're worried about that, you may want to put up a contact form instead, but whatever. I kind of like how this looks. You can design your website how you want to. Now, we haven't really talked about mobile yet, so let's take a look on mobile.
And we can see that this page looks pretty good. Squarespace has automatically created the mobile design. Let's check out another page. And ooh, actually, that looks weird. Fortunately, we can edit the mobile design of this page. And yeah, that fixes it. Everything is looking good.
So with our About page looking good, we have one last thing to do: publish our website on a domain name. Fortunately, it's super easy with Squarespace. Don't blink or you'll miss it.
Let's go to settings. And the first thing we want to do is turn our website to public. But in order to do that, we need a paid plan. Now, just so you know, these are Canadian prices, but I'm going to choose the cheapest plan. Then we'll set the website to published. And you actually get a free domain for 1 year with Squarespace. So let's go claim that. Looks like stevebenjamins.com is taken, so let's try something else. stevecapturesproducts.com. It's short and memorable. It's available, so I'm going to claim it. Now, just so you know, if you buy your domain name with Squarespace,
it doesn't mean your website has to be built with Squarespace. Like, if you decided to move off of Squarespace later, your domain name would still work. And that's the case with any website builder you choose. No one can hold your domain name hostage. But our final task is complete, and we can see our website live right now.
you can type it in, stevecapturesproducts.com. And I have to say, I hope we've stuck to our principles. This website definitely uses white space, and we've kept things curated but also given context. And it's beautiful on desktop and mobile. And while it is a minimalist portfolio, it's not totally lifeless. It has some personality.
Most importantly, I hope this website showcases the work. I hope the work is front and center. You can find a link to this website in the video description. And if you build a portfolio website after watching this, please share it in the comments. I'd love to see it. In any case, thanks for watching.